I'm starting a stroke development class tomorrow for my swimming, so I thought it would be a good idea to get some benchmarks on my swimming to see exactly where I'm at. Maybe get some slow-mo shots of my swimming to see if my stroke does improve over time. So I'm at the pool right now, so let's go ahead, get in the pool, and start swimming. For these baseline metrics, I wasn't really sure what to do or what to track, so I'll just be doing a few of the same things that I do now, repeated after my class is done. First off, yesterday I did an endurance swim where I just do my best to swim consecutively without taking any breaks. This will be one of the metrics that I compare once the class is complete. I ended up swimming for 60 minutes with an average pace of 2:04 per 100 yards. Now, moving on to the benchmarks that I worked on today, I'll be replicating this whole process the best I can in the future so there's not much deviation from me being tired or any other factors that might be taken in. I started off with a few warm-up laps. This was just 4 lengths, and then I took a short breather before I went into it. My plan was to go all out for 100 yards, and then I would be able to track and measure that. I'll be able to look at the footage and calculate the time and strokes per 20 yards. So my first 100-yard speed test, my first 20 yards, I got 15 strokes at approximately 14 and a half seconds. My second 20 yards was 16 strokes at approximately 18 and a half seconds. And around my second or third lap is when I started to get extremely tired and figured that endurance would play a factor in my ability, or at least I thought. My third 20 yards, I got 16 strokes at approximately 18 seconds, so I pretty much stayed on pace there. My fourth 20 yards was at 16 strokes and 18 and a half seconds, stayed consistent again. And my final 20 yards, I had 17 strokes at approximately 19 and a half seconds, so endurance started to slow down a little bit there. My total number of strokes came to 80, and my total time came to 88.5 seconds, or 128 per 100 yards. This wasn't too bad, and I was fine with the time. This is eventually my goal pace that I want to be able to get to during my race, so I have a bit of work to do because I was pretty gassed after this. Another thing that I realized doing this and watching it back, I gain a lot of time while I'm turning around, which I won't be doing in open water, so that's promising, as that was approximately 3 seconds per 20 yards, or 12 seconds throughout the whole 100 yards. Also, I was told during my first swim classes that my arms cross over my shoulders a little bit, which you don't want to do. So that's going to be something that I'll pay attention to in the future to see if it does improve at all. I do try and be mindful of it and try not to cross it as much as possible, since that is something that I was told to do and work on. I started burning out so much. Endurance was the biggest factor there. So tired. I ended up doing this a second time, but focusing more on my form and trying to be smooth with my strokes to see if there would be any difference. I started out with 4 laps for consistency purposes next time I do this, and then I also forgot to record it when I went to do my actual set, so I'll have to do that in the future just so it's consistent with the amount of times that I'm swimming doing laps, making sure that I'm the same consistency being tired. And overall, it was fairly similar to my first one. This one did feel a little bit slower, which I guess would make sense because I am trying to focus more on my form and not really going all out. My first 20 yards, I had 15 strokes at 15 seconds. Second 20 yards was 15 strokes at 18 seconds. Third was at 16 strokes and 20 seconds. Fourth was 17 strokes at 20 seconds. And fifth was 16 strokes at 20 seconds. This came to a total stroke number of 79 and a total time of 93 seconds, or 1 minute and 33 seconds per 100 yards. So comparing the first and the second one, it was fairly similar. The strokes were nearly the same, and it was just slightly a little bit slower. Once my stroke development class is done in about 2 months, I'll be revisiting and testing all of this out to see if and how much of an improvement there is. I'm really hoping that there's an improvement because swimming's my weakest discipline and I really want to improve, so we'll be coming back and testing it out and seeing how it goes. Well, that felt a lot slower, which is kind of a given, but I kind of felt smooth. We'll see how the times compare, but not really sure what else to do for benchmarks. So I wasn't really sure what to get for the baseline metrics, but I think I got some good data that I'll be able to go back, compare, and analyze from, say, now compared to 2 months after the stroke development class is done. I don't really know what to do for the metrics. So I think going there, back, and doing exactly 100 yards and then having it on camera, I'll be able to go back, track exactly the amount of strokes that it took me to go, say, from lap 1 to lap 2, and then I'll break it down from lap 2 to 3, and then I'll be able to break down the exact time from lap 1 to 2 to 3. So I think in 2 months time I'll be able to track and measure. And then I also believe that yesterday's endurance swim, going for a full hour, was a good baseline metric as well, because that was also my best pace that I've put up so far. So I believe we got some good data there that we'll be able to compare and contrast in a couple months once the stroke development class is done. So if you want to stick around, see how the improvement, hopeful improvement, comes along, be sure to subscribe. And in about 2.5 months, I'll be sure to update, remeasure, track, see how hopefully the improvement came. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.